again!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get the show started. Right on the show today, Pakistan is miffed with the ICC for not including their representative on the dais at the Champions Trophy final presentation ceremony. What's the whole story and why was PCB chief Mohsin Naqvi absent from the finale? Over in England, the men's white ball vice-captain Harry Brook has rejected the IPL edition, says he needs to give his time to the revival of England cricket. What led to this bold decision by a youngster at a time when players are opting for leagues over nation? Has he made the right call? And the rift in Manchester United is getting wider by the passing week. CEO Jim Ratcliffe has stoked a bit of a controversy, saying the players are no good. Fans are demanding answers to a horrid run. What could be the possible repercussions of this? But first, all the headlines on Sports 360. Starting with cricket, ICC has announced team of the tournament for the Champions Trophy. Half of the players are from India's winning squad. Virat Kohli, Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul are the batting core. Mohammad Shami and Varun Chakravarti made it to the 11, whereas Akshar Patel was included as the 12th player. New Zealand's Mitchell Santner was named captain of this squad. Over in the Women's Premier League, Mumbai beat Gujarat by 9 runs in a close contest. Captain Harmanpreet Kaur's 54 powered Mumbai to 179. While bowling, Amelia Kerr picked up 3 wickets to make sure Gujarat were bowled out for 170. Mumbai will now take on Bengaluru to secure the top spot. Moving to football, Cristiano Ronaldo powered Al Nassr to the AFC Champions League quarter-final. John Duran's brace and Ronaldo from penalty helped Al Nassr beat Esteghlal 3-0. In tennis, second seed Carlos Alcaraz beat Denis Shapovalov in straight sets in the round of 32 at the Indian Wells Masters. The Spaniard will now face Grigor Dimitrov in the women's draw. World number 1 Arina Sabalenka too made it to the round of 16 after beating Luzia Bronzetti. Sabalenka qualified comfortably with a 6-1, 6-2 win. And India's Sports Ministry has revoked the suspension of the Wrestling Federation of India. The decision means selection trials for the Asian Championships can now resume. The Sports Ministry had suspended the wrestling body last year. It had cited governance and procedural lapses for its decision. The case of the missing PCB. It isn't your gripping Agatha Christie novel, though going by just the dramatic twists and turns in the Champions Trophy, the faux pas and war of words, an entertaining narrative is waiting to be written. But coming back to the case of the missing Pakistan Cricket Board, I'm not referring to Pakistan cricket being missing in action owing to their woeful performances on the field. There was a lot of noise and many former cricketers created a bit of a din around no PCB officials being present at the post-match presentation on Sunday. After the Champions Trophy win, everyone spotted the ICC, the BCCI president, giving away the prizes to the winners. And the secretary of the BCCI, Devajit Saikia, he was also present. And questions were raised as to why the host of the tournament was not up there, as is the norm at any such mega event. Now, PCB had yesterday clarified their stance, saying though Mohsin Naqvi had not travelled, Sumair Ahmed Saeed, the chief operating officer, was present at the venue. The ICC has now gone a little further to explicitly cite the protocol that goes into place during such tournaments and why there was no PCB representation during the ceremony. ICC rules are pretty clear. The host has to be represented in the dais by an ICC office bearer. Mohsin Naqvi is one, the PCB chief, and had he made it, he would have been there. He abstained from travelling owing to some reason that isn't known to us, which meant no one else could take his place. The CEO is not an office bearer. His name does not appear on the ICC official list of the office bearers online, and hence there was no way he could represent the Pakistan Cricket Board at the mega presentation ceremony. But the Pakistan Cricket Board is miffed irrespective. I did reach out to get their response further to this point, but they insist they were wronged. That when the secretary of the BCCI could be present, so could the CEO, since the PCB does not have a CEO. PCB is livid and they have communicated the same to the ICC. That's what I hear. They're not convinced by this reasoning that has been given, even though the clarification holds ground logically and technically. When both ICC and BCCI are represented by their presidents and their chiefs, safe to say, so should the PCB, especially when Pakistan was hosting the tournament. The PCB is up in arms and wants to have a proper discourse on this. That's why they've called for further explanation, though it has been heartening to see Pakistan host an ICC tournament finally after such a long gap. It did not go off without its fair share of speed bumps, stuff that you've now come to expect when we speak of Pakistan and cricket. It cannot be without drama, chaos, and the general dose of the messy. And the PCB and ICC have been at loggerheads from the start of this Champions Trophy tournament, especially as it's been about the ability of this country to host a tournament without any mishaps. Some pertinent questions to think of after the weekend. Why did PCB chief Mohsin Naqvi not make it to the final? Should that have not been the most imperative commitment? Could PCB have been more diligent in their dealings with the ICC, considering they were already on the back foot regarding agreeing to the hybrid model that everyone ultimately arrived upon? At the end of the day, PCB needs to give answers to these questions, else they will only dent their own charisma and stature as a cricketing nation in the years to come. The Champions Trophy has drawn to a close, but the next big cricketing extravaganza for the men is just some days away. IPL, or the Indian Premier League, is around the corner, and there are rumblings already as we head into yet another action-packed season. With whatever happened at the Champions Trophy, will it have a direct impact on the league? England's horror show at the Champions Trophy has resulted in their white ball vice-captain Harry Brook making a bold move. He's decided to give this season of the IPL a skip. He has said no to India's lucrative T20 tournament, the Indian Premier League, for the 2025 edition. Now, it obviously means another year of absence for Brook, because he gave the league a miss last year following his grandmother passing away, and after all the noise post his sudden withdrawal just days to kick off. The English batter had to make a statement revealing his reason to ditching the IPL for a second consecutive year. The middle order batter said he wants to prioritize national duty over a league that's as crucial as the IPL. Quite a different approach than the trending sentiment, where players have opted for the league cricket over their country's commitments. We've seen players rejecting their central contracts just so that they can play in leagues around the world. Simply put, it's the lure of the big bucks. Clearly, big bucks just won't do for Harry Brooks. Shocking, as he's going to suffer quite the setback owing to this decision. Brook won't just lose the $715,000 that Delhi bought him for at the 2025 IPL auction, but also a chance to play at the league until the 2027 season. That's a long period of absence from such an important league. Because according to the directive issued by the league last year, any foreign player who voluntarily withdraws from the league after being picked at the auction will face fines, will face suspension for the next two editions. Unless the reason is injury, of course. And going by how important both India and IPL are when you look at world cricket and the role these two have to play, we have to ask what made Brooks start this feud with India's cricket board BCCI in the first place. Let me paint a picture for you. England cricket is yet again in a state of flux, waiting for a revival. Sure, losses and defeats are part of any sport that you play, but these last few months have shaken up the cricket setup in the country, one that isn't the most liked in their own nation. The sentiments towards English cricket are far from favourable at this point, following their Champions Trophy debacle where they failed to win a single game. Players faced a lot of flack from former cricketers, experts, media and fans alike. Their leader, Jos Buttler, had to step down from his role, and it's not been the first ICC failure for this country. Following their 2022 T20 World Cup triumph, the trajectory of England cricket has just been a downhill journey. A 7th place finish at the 2023 World Cup in India, group stage exit at the 2024 T20 World Cup, and the latest Champions Trophy hammering, where they finished last in their own group. So English cricket has been in precarious position now for over 2 years. Their baseball approach has been questioned time and again, and they are yet to appoint their next captain in the white ball format. So it is a make or break time for cricket in England. But how have they come here? It has been because of their lackluster attitude. That's what's got them in the situation of not caring about certain results, coupled with their adamant reluctance to give up baseball that seems to have hurt them the most. That's what experts surely believe.
I completely and utterly understand why everybody loves seeing England lose. The arrogance of English cricket to decide that after striving for all that time to win a 50-over World Cup, you then decide that it's not important enough for your players to play.
The arrogance of the England teams irritates me. They say, we don't care about the result and we want to entertain, but people don't want to come and watch you if you lose all the time.
This is what England cricket finds itself in currently. Former captain Nasser Hussain feels Brook might be the one to lead England on the field and out of the mess that they find themselves in right at this point.
Rob Key may have spoken to him and said, "You have a lot on your plate. We may want you to captain." Who knows? He has got a lot on his plate coming up with a massive 9 months within India, Test series at home, and then the Ashes away.
Now, I understand the intention to manage workload, especially for somebody like Brook, who plays all 3 formats for England. But why skip the IPL? Sure, Brook may be seeking inspiration from Ben Stokes, who hasn't taken part in the IPL since 2023, to extend his Test career that he captains. But Brook is a critical part of the T20 and ODI squads of England. So wouldn't playing with some of the best in the world at the IPL help him get into a better shape for his country? And it's most essential now than ever before, when the 2026 T20 World Cup is set to take place in the subcontinent, an event which will be hosted by India and Sri Lanka. So wouldn't more seasons and time in the subcontinent only help Brook prepare for the big one? And as captain too, if that responsibility as well were to fall on him. Brook has showed us glimpses of the kind of player he can be in these conditions. A 55-ball 100 in Hyderabad against Kolkata in 2023, the only edition of the IPL that he took part in. Will that be the last of the memories of Harry Brook on the IPL scene for some time to come at least? English football club Manchester United seems to be putting up a fight everywhere except where it really matters the most, on the ground. The club are in the middle of a dismal season despite bringing in Ruben Amorim as their manager. They are languishing in the 14th spot at the Premier League, and while the club is going through this horrid spell, part owner Jim Ratcliffe has conveniently pointed fingers at his players.
Some are not good enough and some probably are overpaid, but for us to mold the squad that we are fully responsible for and accountable for will take time.
Some overpaid and some not good enough. Quite the analysis by an owner whose focus has been elsewhere. Because I get the need to bring in the overpaid angle into the whole debate, Ratcliffe is on a cost-cutting spree where he has taken radical decisions such as closing the staff canteen, even bizarre ones where bonuses have been cut down, or increasing ticket prices for matches. All of them not very well received by neither the staff members nor the fans. So basically, Ratcliffe is justifying where he thinks the money is getting spent. Sorry, wasted. His view. But the bigger reason behind the statement is the angry fans. The Manchester United fan base seems to have had enough of it. They want answers, even resorting to protests against club ownership that happened just some days ago. So with the management now facing all the heat, the convenient deflection is blame it on the players. For years now, Manchester United have put the blame on coaches for their poor finishes, like they did with Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralf Rangnick, and the latest, of course, Erik ten Hag. But all of a sudden, they have realized that, hold on, the manager isn't quite the problem here, the players are.
If I actually look at the squad which is available to Ruben, I think he is doing a really good job, to be honest. I think he will be there for a long time.
One way to look at it, it is good that United are finally backing a manager instead of their usual tactic of firing and changing. But questioning the players, is that the right approach? If anyone needs to be blamed for this, shouldn't it be the United management itself? The ones who took the call to sign up these not-so-good players on a high salary in the first place. Sure, would have seemed okay at that point, but calling it overpriced later is just trying to fall back on the hindsight logic. Nothing comes of it. What the United management is now trying to do is make the players the scapegoat, divert all the attacks that is coming their way, drawing a line at the Old Trafford camp, which is now creating a rift between the management and the players. Now, I understand that some of the players may not be up to Manchester United's standards, or may not be the right fit to take United to winning ways. But this is why we have top bosses, to see what is right for the club, find the right talent and utilize them in the right possible manner, which the United management clearly is failing to do. And just look at the impact this ought to have in the team. Listening to an owner like Ratcliffe publicly calling their existing team not good enough. Not exactly motivating words to hear for a team that is already in the dumps. What this statement has done is create another storm in the existing circus Manchester United is turning out to be. Playing the blame game is only making this club more divisive and unstable, making the already disjointed club a broken one. Time for last serve. Over 12,000 skiers took part in a ski marathon in Switzerland, the world's second largest of its kind. Covers a distance of 42 kilometers. Take a look at the skiers battling it out. That wraps it up here on First Sports. I'll, of course, join you again tomorrow. But till then, take care.
Merci beaucoup. Hi, how are you?
Very well, thanks.
Thank you for being here.
Namaste, Mr. President.
Bharat Kelogan, Komeri Namaste.
How many people generally follow you in interviews?
Typically, in a month, we have viewers up to 150 million. That's more than twice the population of France. And in the last 2 years, we had 3 billion viewers. So I say, Laurent, this is your chance to be famous. You're on Firstpost. One word to describe your equation with Prime Minister Modi.
Amitié.
As India and France work together, are you creating a new era of non-alignment in the technology space?
India is a training superpower. 1 million engineers a year, more than all of Europe and the US combined. So we have that partnership. We have a partnership on the environment and the economy. We also have civilian nuclear programs, and that is something we've developed far beyond the France-India relationship. So we want to work together on AI.
And then comes China with its DeepSeek, creating models at a fraction of the cost. Did that innovation take you by surprise? Did that breakthrough make you sit up and think, what did the Chinese do and how?
But what did DeepSeek do? They took everything that was already available from the last AI model, and then they recalibrated it.
So are you going to ban Chinese AI in France?
So we don't have this American approach of banning tech because of where it comes from.